Welcome to a new Inner Growth Lounge episode. Today, I have the pleasure to have with me my wonderful Keely Pierce, the visionary founder and CEO of I Am More Academy, renowned internationally for her thought leadership and inspirational journey. With over 14 years of experience, Keely is a seasoned transformational guide dedicated to empowering mumpreneurs on their transformative journey towards life balance, success, and self-mastery. Through her acclaimed MAP framework, she guides ambitious women to overcome limiting beliefs, achieve clarity, and find harmony in both life and business. Welcome, Keely.
Thank you, Christiana. Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, mompreneurs, let's talk first about mom, because I have noticed that so little we have been told about becoming a mom and what an amazing and great shift it is for us women. Even more when you have your own business or you want to create your own business. So, what would you like to say about this transition?
Well, where do we even begin? It's such a huge part of our life, isn't it? And I think anybody who doesn't have children, so I've got family members who are about to start this journey into motherhood, and they might say, "Oh, I'm so tired," or "Oh, I've just got no time." And I think, just wait until you've got a little screaming baby and you're functioning on no sleep, which you can totally relate to the fact that sleep deprivation is an actual form of torture. Because I think, blimey, my eldest daughter is 12 and I don't think she slept well. Don't really think she slept full stop until she was about 7 years old. So yeah, the ongoing trauma of sleep deprivation. But the shift into motherhood and the change in ourselves and our whole worlds and everything that comes with it is so profound. And as much as people can warn you about it, you think, yeah. But it's like a smack in the face with a wet fish sometimes when you walk home with that baby in the car seat or the carry cot and you think, wow, this is where it all begins.
Yeah, I remember my friend when she had a baby. She called me one day and she was crying, and I said, "What's wrong? What's happening?" She goes, "I can't believe that Mykonos is gone. You know, Mykonos, the island in Greece. It's like a party party island." She goes, "I can't believe that Mykonos is gone. I can't believe that going for a coffee whenever I want is gone. I can't believe that I have to hold this baby all the time." And it's like, it's amazing how much you're shifting to something that you have never experienced and something very demanding. It's like you don't exist anymore, it's like this baby all the time.
Yeah. So with my second child, there's a 10-year gap, but my second child, I actually had him the day before my birthday. So we talk about that whole identity thing, and birthdays are really important to me. Like, I like to milk my birthday for about a week, kind of plans with the girls, plans with the husband, plans with the family, like every day or something or other, there's something going on. And I really celebrate that time, which is like my time. And I was pregnant and I had really like difficulty towards the end of pregnancy. I was in so much pain, and they pulled me in to be induced early. And they said, "You're going to have him on your birthday." And at that point, I was so exhausted and in agony. I was like, I don't care. Like I just wasn't thinking properly at all. Anyway, long and the short of it, I went into labor anyway. And he was born at 8:33 p.m. But I was like, he is not taking my birthday. We are not sharing. That is my time. And the crazy thing is, I don't get a birthday now because obviously everything is around the babies and that's fine. But it is a huge shift. And I think maybe I should delay my birthday by a week. Maybe I just need to change the date so that I can still have me time, because I'm still important. I am mum, but I want my time too.
Yeah, I see so many women that when they become moms, they forget everything about the woman. It's like, it's all mom, but it's exhausting. And at the end, I think you get to a point that you cannot you don't even know who you are. So how do you go about that, Keely? I mean, how do you find yourself being a mom and also create your career being a mother?
I think something you could probably relate to a lot is the word boundary. I know you talk a lot about boundaries, and for me, that was so important. So 12 years ago, when I had my daughter, I was 23 years old. I was running my own pub restaurant in the UK, and it was so busy. It was thriving, but we were working 16-hour days. At the very beginning, it was 7 days a week. It was just non-stop. So that identity as me, as this business owner, this thriving business owner that was just in, obviously, like pub and food and restaurants, it's just hustle, hustle, hustle all the time. To then be told to stop, and not just stop, but not have an income, or maternity pay in the UK is very small, but it's kind of like, well, how are you meant to survive on that? And then not only that, it's kind of all the different things that come with matrescence, the transition into motherhood, the key pillars of like the change in your identity, the change in your relationships. And that's not just your partner, but your friendships, your family, even the dynamics with your parents can change when you have that kind of first child. Everything was just, it blew my brain. And I think it took me a long time to decide that maybe I had postnatal depression. Maybe that was what was going on. I wouldn't say I felt depressed and despair, but I didn't feel me. I didn't feel okay. And I felt like the four walls were just closing in on me. And me as a person, as much as I'm such a people person, like parties, people, social, all of that stuff, which is, I suppose, why I run pubs. But all of that stops, because if you don't have the tribe to support you, and for me and my partner, his parents passed away, and I don't have particularly close relationship with my family. So it is just the two of you. And when it's just the two of you, you can find some time and have that boundary of, I need some mum time, which is few and far between, but you can't then keep that relationship as it was before. And all these different dynamics come in. And I just remember feeling really lost. So I'd say up until my daughter was about 7, maybe when she started to sleep again, I kind of come to the conclusion that I had a fear of having more children. I didn't want to go back to that person that I was, hiding, kind of wondering what has happened to my life and who am I? And so when I had Jude, with this 10-year gap, when I was pregnant, I knew what I was kind of stepping into. I understood what matrescence was, which was totally not a thing back then. So I had those boundaries. I literally was kind of booking in going back to college, not because I wanted to do another degree or anything crazy, but an evening course, something that I knew I could socialize with adults, other humans. I could literally have my brain functioning that isn't just in goo goo gaga and changing nappies. And I just had these boundaries with my partner, and that I needed that time for me. So I booked specifically a spa membership, not at the very beginning, because obviously I was breastfeeding and it's just not so easy to run away. But I knew I had that to look forward to. I knew I had that structure and balance in place. And again, having a very good supportive partner at home, where we have very clear communication around expectations of parenting. I also have my own time. So we have holidays separately. We have family time and family holidays, but he goes away and plays golf, and I go away and do whatever fills my bucket. So for me, I love loud music, dancing, and just being able to switch off in that moment. So whether it's going to Ibiza and just having a few crazy party days, or going to kind of different events in the UK, just to be me, to own my identity. But oh boy, I wish I understood that 12 years ago.
Yeah, but it was more difficult in that the age of 20 to 30s. I mean, you're not even established as a woman. You don't even know what that means. Yeah, I mean, and being a mom as well. I think there's a lot of confusion, especially in those younger ages, to establish yourself and also keep the woman within the mom. But I also, my daughters had, especially the oldest one, a lot of trouble sleeping. So I created my coaching business, sleep deprived for like 5 years. And I understand completely what you mean. It was like, I thought that I was I thought I was an alien. Like I was, I don't know. I think I was on survival mechanism and I didn't know it. You know what I mean? It's like now
Absolutely.
that I look back, I was like, how did I do that? You know, like now I'm sleeping 8 hours per night and I don't get rest. How did I do that? Like sleeping 2 hours every night.
Yeah.
And they also have a very small gap, like 17 months between them.
Wow.
And
Absolutely.
I got the divorce when they were, the youngest one was 7 months when I got the divorce. So actually I was a lot in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always had in my mind though that I have to keep me as a woman alive, which is not easy. It's like everybody's asking you to be a mother, even your children. You know, it's like just be a mother. You know,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So what you're saying, the boundaries is very important. The network around you, your partner, and of course your boundaries, right? So
For sure.
what led you get to the teenage part now? Because you work a lot with teenagers, right?
Yes.
So what got you there?
Oh, okay. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory. So I Am More Academy was founded because I came across a note that I had written when I was at a conference, a personal development kind of self mastery conference that Tony Robbins was hosting, and you take so many notes when you go to different events, and you think, oh, I've taken that golden nugget, or I remember that, or that's going to make a change in my life. But this particular note I'd completely forgotten about. And when I was having a bit of a moment where I was like, I am done with the rat race. So I left pubs and restaurants, maybe, where are we? It must be 10 years ago now. And I then found myself in network marketing and then into sales. And that kind of led me on a pathway into that world within corporate. And then I just felt like I was on a hamster wheel. That's probably the best way of putting it. The juggle, the stress, the constant chasing of targets and chasing someone else's dream completely. And so when I had this moment of like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to have a new baby and step into the same stuff I've been doing, because that balance just doesn't work. And I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I just randomly found on my phone a screenshot of this note. One thing, that was all that was on there. There wasn't loads, there wasn't anything, because I went back and then timestamped to see what else I took a screenshot of. And this note literally read, my mission in life is to help a child like me to know that they are enough and that they can achieve their dreams. And if I don't, that's thousands of souls lost. And it literally gave me goosebumps. And I can't even remember writing it. And in that moment, literally in that moment, I knew that I was the vehicle for the change I wanted to see. And for years, I've always said what is lacked in schools and what children lack. But I've never put the two and two together, that I was that vehicle to make it happen. And that was it. That was it. Literally from that moment, it was like a light bulb. And that's why my company is called I Am More, because those words are so powerful and prominent to me and my story that it just had no other choice but to be called I Am More. And so with that passion was really, what age group can I work with? What is the best time to kind of catch a child where they can understand where you're coming from and not be maybe too young, but to have an impact. So I work a lot with secondary schools, which are children aged 12 normally, but some kind of 11, but mostly 12 up till 18. And I go in and I'll do workshops. I'll share my story. Even this morning, I've just had a message saying, will I come in and give an assembly, an hour's talk, inspirational talk to the year 11s about exam preparation and moving forward after education. It's so powerful to share my story, because it isn't about kind of being a mum and having life balance and being on a self-mastery journey and investing in yourself, because that is like talking Chinese to children. They're literally like, what planet are you on? I go in and I share with them about my upbringing, that my mum was a drug addict, that we had no money, that there was crime, that there was all of these different things. We call them ACEs, which is adverse childhood experiences, that I know the children in that room can relate to in some way, shape, or form. So I understand that my message will literally touch near enough every child in some capacity in that room. And then it's really just letting them know that it doesn't have to define you. You can literally be anything you want to be. I'd share with them that I'm dyslexic. I share with them that I've got ADHD. I share with them that I went to university and I didn't read a single book. I was always ashamed of that, really, because it just sounds crazy. But actually, to somebody like me, who comes from a family background like me, that means they can do it too, because I'm not special. Literally, I'm not special. I'm just me. And if I can do it, you can do it. And yeah, so it's I've got goosebumps now talking about it. I literally love the work I do in schools. It gives me so much joy to share that message and to empower the youth, because I think part of the problem in life is we've got so many broken adults and not enough services to try and fix, we say loosely, help those adults. What about if we can speak to the children before they become the broken adult, to just change even that 1% direction on their kind of empowerment to know that they're enough and that they can be more? And that for me is just, yeah, my life's work.
I feel you 100% because I started from child coaching as well. And the reason I did was exactly that. My adolescence years were very bad. Like I did a lot of stupid things. I felt very alone. So being the child watching you now, I mean, I understand exactly what you're talking about. And it's different. You know, I have worked so many years with children, in adolescence mostly, that coaching children, like coaching, whatever, it's like, you know, talking with children and being there, supporting them to go through that age, I think it's magical. You know, because they have nobody. Like when I was in that age, I was always thinking, I wish I had somebody that could understand what I'm going through, because you know, adults mostly, they don't understand adolescents. It's like, it's fine if your only job is to study, you know, what are you going on about all this stuff? But it's not like that. When you're there, and especially when you have difficult situations to face, you need somebody like you to create the space for you. I mean, I see that you feel it 100% what you're doing, and I understand, and it's amazing. I think going back and working with younger humans helps a lot. You know, is what you're saying, instead of creating all this pain and then coming to fix it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think even if, like, mums in particular take that moment to think about their journey into parenthood, like that first child, that literally, I remember coming in from the hospital with my daughter and she was in the car seat and I put her on the sofa and I just looked at her and I was like, oh, we need some milk. And then I looked at her and then I looked at my husband and I was like, oh, like it was this reality of, oh, that's not so simple anymore. And that journey into all of those different key areas is the same for adolescents. We're so wrapped up and so busy in our lives and running businesses or working or whatever it may be, that if we can reflect to our journey as becoming a mum, to what our teenagers are going through in adolescence, it's exactly the same. They're having an identity crisis. Who am I? Where do I fit in this world? What do I even want? Then they're falling into their relationships, which at that age is their life. Like, relationships are the most important thing in their world to them, not their parents or family. It's usually their peer group. And if something goes wrong in that, that is the end of the world, totally. And we should have a bit more compassion and understanding for that. And then along with their emotional well-being, whether it's like their mental health, whether it's their body image, whether it's all of those things, the matrescence journey and becoming a mum is mirrored. with adolescence. And the same when we go into menopause. I mean, I'm not quite there yet, but I've got friends who are going through the journey. And again, they're kind of like, I've got brain fog. Am I in the right job? What am I doing with my life? None of them have gone out and bought kind of a crazy convertible yellow car or anything crazy, but it might happen. And then that's
Why
mad.
not? If it's needed.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's sometimes just, we forget, don't we, in simple terms, how
yeah,
we can relate to our teenagers. I mean, my
yeah,
daughter's going into the teenage phase, and the whole relationships thing has been
yeah.
a journey, and we're only just at the beginning.
Yeah, but I find, I don't know, maybe because I have been in that space for many years, but I have a lot of understanding for them. Like, if you just understand that for them in this time, there is nothing more important than their friends and the opposite or same sex, whatever. There's nothing more important. And we're begging for studying and stuff like that. And I tell them, look, step back, stop pushing them so much for studying and start understanding what they need. And they're like, but how can I do that? Parents are like, how can I do that? Then if I let them, they will lose track, but it's not real, right?
And that's really a difficult part. When I go into schools, it's kind of, I have to be very mindful that I can't say your GCSEs won't define you. Like, nobody looks on your CV or actually asks really for your stuff, all of those different things. You can't say any of that. But what I do share with them is, when I left school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have the support structure at home guiding me on what to do. And if you look, and I share with them kind of a journey through my career, I'm like, all of that was accidental, all of it. Everything I've done has been, someone said something as an opportunity, and I've gone, oh, okay, I'll try it. And that is my message to them. Say yes, work it out later, because that way you can trial and test different things to see how it feels. And then hopefully you'll stumble across something you love and passionate about. And then every day you don't wake up dreading going to work. You can kind of wake up and feel like happy about going and doing something you enjoy.
What is success for you? Having, all these teenagers and mumpreneurs around you, and how do you define your own success?
Great question. Great question. And I'd say it's a unique journey for everybody. I know that I've got people in my network who are striving for the £1 million business or the £1 million year or whatever it may be. And to them, that looks like yachts and champagne on ice and, living that kind of lifestyle. But success for me, and I think it's taken a long time to come through this journey, it is about time. It is about, time, full stop. That is it, time. So for me, I'm very proud to say that I have always been able to pick up my children from school and take them to school. I've prided everything I've done on making sure I'm at that assembly or that thing that's going on in school, the sports days, the stuff. It's not easy to do. And I did say to my daughter one day, I was like, one day, not now, one day when you've got children, you'll look back and think, my mum was at everything. How did she do that? Because it's not easy. But for me, that's something that I wanted to make sure I'd done. And not only that, but success to me is about balance. It's about having my own identity as me, as Keely Pierce, not as mum or wife or sister or anything else. It's for me to pursue my own passions, which I'm actively doing with I Am More. But success is also not necessarily about the material stuff. Yes, it's lovely to buy a bottle of champagne and celebrate. Yes, it's lovely to eat steak for dinner and king prawns and all the finer things in life. And yes, it's lovely for all of those things, but that wouldn't be enjoyable if it wasn't for my dining room table, for example. The hub of the home is my table in the kitchen. This table is the glue to the family. This dining room table is literally where we share our days, our emotions, our bad stuff, good stuff, the in-between stuff. It's the bit where we have people over and we connect with others. It's literally a non-negotiable in my house that every mealtime is around this table, because this is where we bond together and we kind of unite. And that's not just as a family, but that's with friends also. And I suppose that to me is success, because it enables us to communicate effectively, to understand each other and our needs in that time. It kind of means that our goals even can be aligned. You know, there may be things that I want to do, and then because I've shared it around this table, we've had this space every day, it's like the norm for us. My daughter will be like, oh, can I come and do that with you? So it then creates more opportunities for you to have further bonding time and stuff. So for me, success is about, yes, of course, the nicer things in life, for sure. Who wouldn't want the nice things in life? But it's about time. That time I'll never get back.
Yeah. Yes, it's something that I realized with my daughters too, because I have been working the last, I mean, it's only the last year that I'm doing my best not to overwork. And I have noticed that as well. Like, if I don't have time to be with my children whenever I want, what is the point? I mean, even if you get the money of the world, what are you going to do with them alone? It's like, what's the point to get all that money if you don't feel like you have love and you have communication and you feel connected, right?
Exactly. And I will share with you, because once it's out in the universe, obviously it's all part of the manifesting journey. But for me, and when I visualize the future, it is the beach life. You know, I would love to live in Bali or somewhere and have a pool and have the work-life balance where I only work 3 days or evenings a week, where every day I wake up to the sunrise on the beach and maybe do some yoga, or, you know, that complete lifestyle would be amazing. And that's where I'm heading to in the distant future. But that doesn't come without having to have some hustle and some grind and finding that balance. And again, for me, my non-negotiables, I don't work in the evening when it's family time, or, well, every day's family time between dinners and bedtime and stuff, but I don't give my evenings very often. And weekends, definitely not. So for me, because I love what I do, I'm naturally the first person awake in the house. Like last night, I've put pressure on myself to achieve a target that I'd given myself. And in true ADHD fashion, I just procrastinated and could not get over myself. So I was awake till about 2:30, but I was still the first one awake this morning, because I'm so much more productive in that time where everyone's still asleep than I am for like 3 hours in the day. So I'm just very firm on those boundaries of where I squeeze in the hustle.
And for the women that are watching us, just to say that it needs adjusting to get there. I mean, because sometimes we hear this, but in order for you to get there, right, there was adjustments done, so you get to a point that you are truly where you want to be, right? It's not just one day you decide that everything is going to fall into place and you do it.
It's been a very long work in progress. And I suppose part of the self-discovery and the self-mastery journey is that it's never ending.
Yeah.
We literally have to evolve all the time to get to the place we want to be. And the 23-year-old or 21-year-old me who was running a pub restaurant whilst finishing a degree and everything else would not be who I am today, and even on this podcast today recording with you. So it's been a journey, and we have to do that inner work to move forward, to get everything else that you want, because we can have it all. It just isn't an overnight project.
It needs patience, yeah. And I think this is something that we need to share it, because, you know, nowadays this thing is going around about becoming a millionaire overnight, and, you know, everybody's got followers, and, you know, all these things that we are focusing on, instead of just focusing on how am I going to make this journey more enjoyable, and have patience and it will unfold, right? I mean, it unfolds. It unfolds every day in front of us. It's just a matter of us accepting the pace of it.
For sure. And I know we were on a live stream this morning for another platform, but on that platform, I did share about the law of three. And it's something I do try and do, is to be intentional every day. And yes, I'll write myself a to-do list, and it's about 3 pages long. And then I think, oh God. But for me, I just try to be intentional on life balance. What's the one thing I can do today to help me feel a bit more aligned? And then I look at success. What do I need to do in my business or in my life right now to get me to that next stage? And I don't mean something major. It could be something really small, like make 1 phone call. But what is that key phone call that I need that's going to propel me forward in that situation? And then down for the self-mastery. What am I doing today? And at the minute, I've very much been putting my time and thoughts into a lot around manifesting intentions, etc. And yeah, there's been some crazy things going on in the background, but yeah, I do think if you can just be intentional, you will naturally move forward, and with not really much pressure. But if you're doing these intentions every day, well, there's 365 odd days. That's like so much more power than having like a big high and a push of stuff that we do and then not doing anything for a while. And that consistency that leads through is really powerful over a time period.
Yeah, absolutely. Keely, thank you so much. We can talk for hours here. Thank you for being here, for shedding your light. And we will surely speak again. We have a lot to say. Just before you go, I would like you to talk a little bit about the charity that you do. Yeah, I would love for you to let us know what's happening in I Am More.
Thank you. So I Am More Academy is soon to be launching. I'm just waiting on the finer details to come through, the full registration, but it's the Wings of Change, the Wings of Change Foundation, and it is the charitable arm of I Am More Academy. And as much as I share my passion that I want to impact the world, I'm still just me. And there's only so much I can do, literally. So I thought if I could create a charity that is not just based in the UK, but global, I can draw down on funding across the world to get amazing people in, like yourself, in Cyprus, and like many others that I've made connections with around the globe, to go in and share their message with not just children, that impact, the ripple effect to those that can't necessarily afford to invest in a private coach themselves, or I don't want to say the word therapy, but sometimes there's so many lack of services around the world. I feel that true coaching can offer that safe space, like you say, hold space for somebody. And that is so impactful. It's not necessarily we're here to fix you. We're here to hear you. I want you to feel seen, heard, validated, and that you're not alone. And for the Wings of Change Foundation to be created, I am so excited to be on this journey and work with many, many people across the globe to have a bigger impact.
Yes, I can't wait for that. And when you have news, you come back to the podcast and let the world know.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yes, very exciting things to come.
Yes. Thank you very much, Keely. And we will see you soon again here.
Take care. Thank you.